Fergie plots fresh move for independent life as clock ticks on Royal Lodge eviction. It has been reported that Sarah Ferguson has begun house hunting ahead of her and Andrew Mountbatten Windsor being booted out of Royal Lodge amid scandal. Sarah Ferguson is said to be planning her next home move as the clock ticks down on her and former husband Andrew being booted out of their Royal Lodge home. Disgraced former Prince Andrew was forced to give up the lease on the 30-room mansion that he shared with ex-wife Fergie after he was stripped of his titles at the end of October following revelations about his association with pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Andrew is set to go and live on the Sandringham estate in the new year in a much smaller property, but Fergie will not be joining him. Speculation has mounted on where the former Duchess of York will live, with reports that she had been offered a granny annex in a former cattle shed building on a property in the Cotswolds owned by eldest daughter, Princess Beatrice, shot down. Similarly, it has been denied that she will move abroad to Portugal to live in a property owned by youngest daughter, Princess Eugenie. Now it has emerged that she has, in fact, reported been looking for her own house, and wants to stay in the Windsor area. A source close to Fergie told The Times, she wants to stay in the UK, ideally in the Windsor area, and she wants to have her own base so that she can live independently and continue to pursue many things as Sarah Ferguson. News of Fergie's potential new move comes after it was revealed that Andrew faces being booted out of Royal Lodge with no compensation due to the extent of repairs needed. The disgraced former prince looks set to lose £500,000 after surrendering the lease on the property. It came as it was announced that an investigation is to be launched into the Crown estate and leases it has granted for homes held by other members of the royal family after MPs demanded answers on Andrew's lucrative rent deal for the Windsor mansion. It emerged that Andrew only paid a peppercorn rent if demanded for the home in the last 2 decades. It forced the public spending watchdog, the Public Accounts Committee, dubbed the Queen of Select Committees, to demand answers from both the Treasury and Crown estate, asking them to explain Andrew's lucrative lease. Profits from the Crown estate are given to the Treasury for public spending, and questions had mounted over whether the taxpayer was missing out due to the deal. On Tuesday, the committee, which looks into whether taxpayers' money is being wisely spent, published details of the property arrangements provided by Crown Estate Chief Executive Dan Labid. It shows that Andrew gave the minimum 12 months notice that he would surrender Royal Lodge on October 30, meaning he could stay there until October next year. It also shows that if no end of tenancy repairs were required, Andrew would have been entitled to £488,342. 21 for ending his tenancy on October 30, 2026. But the Crown Estate said that following an inspection of the property on November 12, it was thought unlikely that any compensation would be paid. It said, "Our initial assessment is that while the extent often of tenancy dilapidations and repairs required is not out of keeping with a tenancy of this duration, they will mean, in all likelihood, that Andrew Mountbatten Windsor will not be owed any compensation for early surrender of the lease, once dilapidations are taken into account," the Crown Estate said. But before this position can be fully validated, however, a full and thorough assessment must be undertaken post-occupation by an expert in dilapidation.